One. Good evening, everybody, with RVing in New England. Bob and John here, and I wanted to open up. I'm sorry that we were late, about a half hour, but I flew into Chicago today and on my way into Elkhart, and I decided to come all the way over, so I am in Elkhart, Indiana now. So it was a rough time getting out of Logan. Actually, it was probably one of the roughest takeoffs. You always hear about rough landings, but it was a rough takeoff, let me tell you.
So when you took off and you waved to the people that were in the Prudential Center and they waved back, you knew that you were a little low.
There were a few people saying their prayers on the plane. I mean, he had an interesting time getting up there. But
you're traveling this week, and I traveled last week.
Right.
I was in the Toronto airport when we did our show, and I watched the faces of the people in the airport. They did not look happy. Now, just to compare RVing with flying, tell us your day. What time you had to leave your house, and you're only an hour from the Boston airport. Okay, right. So you're relatively close. What time did you have to leave your house? What's time to catch a flight? And where did you end up tonight? And let's compare that with if you had left Hudson, Massachusetts in an RV. How much longer would it have been to get to where you're going?
Not a whole lot longer. That's another great reason to take an RV. I left at 10:30 this morning for a 1:30 flight, and I got into Chicago about
3 hours, right?
Yeah, about 3:30, and then had to drive over to Elkhart with the roads and the construction. I got here just about 7:30. So you talk about 9 hours from the time I left my house.
Okay.
And takes us 14. Actually, we've made it in 13. So,
okay, but let's back up a little bit. Once you got to the airport, you had to park.
Right.
Then you had to walk to the gate. And then you had to walk, you had to get your boarding pass if you didn't already have it.
I already had it, yeah.
Then you had to go through security and take your shoes off and your belt off and all that other baloney.
Right.
Okay. Then you were probably subjected to buying a $4 coffee.
Right.
Okay. Then you got on the plane, and you probably had more room if you were in your own suitcase.
Well, actually, today was a good one. They had 70 empty seats on the flight, which surprised me for a mid-afternoon flight. But, yeah, so now I landed, drove over to Elkhart. And
wait. Don't go that far. You got off the plane like cattle. Yeah. Then you had to go get the rental car.
Right.
Describe that process.
No. It's pain. It's painful. Take the bus to the rental unit, take the elevator up to get the car, check out the car. Couldn't find the USB port for my phone. Don't go there. It was terrible.
It's all part of the reason that RVing is so much better.
Exactly, all the reason. And speaking about RVing, I am in Elkhart, Indiana, which is the RV capital of the world. And something that you folks should consider, and we mention this a lot at our seminars and our shows, is if you're seriously considering a couple of different manufacturers, take a vacation to Elkhart. Drive out here. Every factory out here has a tour. Some of them are scheduled. Some you have to call in advance. But when you pick out 2 or 3 manufacturers, and even if you're a year or 2 away from actually buying an RV, pick out 2 or 3 of them, come out to Elkhart. There's plenty to see out here. There's the RV Hall of Fame and Museum, where you can have old RVs going back to the late 1900s, early 1900s. It's a great take there. And then visit 2 or 3 of the factories, because 85% of all the RVs that you see on the road, and all the RVs that you're going to see at the shows this spring are made right here. Everything under the sun. Now, Winnebagos are not made here. So if you're looking for Winnebago, you have to go to Forest City, Iowa. If you're looking for Tiffin, you have to go down to Red Bay, Alabama. If you're looking for Lance, you got to go out to California. But 85% of them are here. And it's really great to see a factory tour and see how these things are made and be able to talk to the people that make them and the representatives at the factory themselves. Have you ever done tours out here, John?
I have. I've gone to Thor and another company down in Napanee, another one down there. And it's fascinating because right next to Newmar, it was Travel Light at the time.
Yep. No, it was Travel Supreme.
Travel Supreme, that's right.
Yeah.
So basically, they show you from the time they bring in that empty stripped chassis from the manufacturer, with just a little seat. The only thing that's on it is a steering wheel and a fake seat. And they show you step by step how they go through it.
A box. Yeah, sometimes it's just a box, right? They sit on the box as they drive it in.
Exactly.
I've been to
travel trailer. There's even less. It's just several pieces of steel with some wheels on it.
Yep. It's amazing to see them put together. And Airstream, if you look up at Airstream, you can't find them here, even though they're a division of Thor. You have to go to Jackson Center, Ohio, to visit the Airstream Factory, which they announced this week. They're building a brand new 225,000 square foot production facility, state of the art, for their trailers, and they're going to move the motorhome production into the current factory. And they're also going to be building kind of an Airstream Hall of Fame. And that's the other nice thing about going to the manufacturers themselves. You get a chance to see their history, and many of them have a very long history in our industry, and it gets exciting to be able to see that and talk to the people.
Yeah. Interesting thing, Bob, you can tell, you're in a hotel in Elkhart, Indiana, and one of the things that my wife likes best about our motorhome is that she knows we're sleeping in our sheets, and we have our bathroom, and we have our towels, and we have our blankets. Even though it's a very nice hotel, you know what? It's just not yours. And that's the thing that many times turns people into becoming an RV owner, because of that specific reason that, they can control their environment better.
Yeah. Let's switch over to Open House. I just got a low battery, so I got to plug in. So I'm going to go off the screen and plug in my computer. Let's talk about Facebook. Let's switch up the order and talk about Facebook Live, on-site, online, and talk a little bit about your trip to Diamond last week, and then Lee's this Saturday, if you would.
I will do that while you go plug in. So basically, last Saturday, a week following the open house, was the open house at Diamond RV in West Hatfield, Massachusetts. And we had an opportunity to speak with Bob, the sales manager, as well as his service manager, as well as his store manager. And they were just going gangbusters. I got there at 8:45 in the morning. The doors opened at 9. People were already in the parking lot at 8:45 looking for RVs. And the other interesting thing that we got to do was to talk to some actual customers. And I will tell you this, the environment at Diamond RV was very friendly. And there were several people that were in the store that were not necessarily buying a new RV, but might be buying some parts or accessories for the upcoming season. But they have a very friendly family atmosphere. And I think those tapes, the replays of those are still available right here on the NERVDA page. And then this Saturday coming up, I get the opportunity to go up to Maine, and we're hoping it's going to be rain. It might be snow, but we're hoping it's going to be rain. We're going to Lee's family RV sales in Windham, Maine, which is just outside of Portland. I haven't met the new owner yet, Dan, but from everything that I've heard, Dan is just doing a phenomenal job in transforming that dealership into a very busy place. But he comes from another background and another business background, and he's bringing some best practices that he learned in his other businesses to the RV industry. So I'm very excited about that, and that'll be Saturday morning from 9 to noon.
All right, let's catch up with a little bit of our fan club here. I see Mike Pelchard is on tonight. Mike, how are we doing down there? I think you're still in Florida, right? Or did you get home to South Carolina? And the ladies are on, Laurie and Michelle. And Michelle, Laurie brings up a good point, that the manufacturers themselves, when you do come out for the tours, a lot of them have hookups, not full hookups, but electricity and water, or maybe just electricity on their property. So if you're staying overnight, they have them there for the people who are getting service. So you could ask if you could stay there overnight. But just down the street is the Elkhart Campground, which is a great campground, very close to all the facilities, probably 2 miles from where I am tonight. And the 2 gals and a dog are going to be at Lance Factory on Monday. That's interesting. So Laurie and Michelle are going to be over at the Lance Factory. They have a Lance trailer. just drop me a note here and let me know if you're just visiting or if you're going to have some work done on the trailer on that. Okay, what else? Nothing else on that. Okay,
Jerry's that guy from Tennessee. Jerry, whereabouts in Tennessee? You on the Memphis side or the Knoxville side or the Nashville side, Jerry? Tell us where you're from. See, Bob, the beauty of this communication right now is absolutely amazing. And let's take it one step further. People will have the opportunity this summer. In fact, a month from tomorrow, I get the RV out of storage. It's like New Year's Eve. It's like November 30th here.
Not like you're counting.
Not that I'm counting days or anything like that.
No,
but
no.
These capabilities with Facebook Live, if people are camping this summer away from their family, they've got the opportunity to talk to their family. I mean, they can always do it by the phone, but they can reach several people all at once with Facebook Live technology. And the beauty of it is all you need is a cell phone and an account. And, it's just absolutely amazing. Just like we're reaching people all over the United States tonight. And when I was in Canada last week, we did our first international show. But today we're doing 2 states. And, that's pretty cool in itself.
In other states. The other thing that's going to be interesting, and I think we're going to just pull the plug and try it next week or bite the bullet and try it. We're going to switch over to the talk show format, which allows us to have now they just upgraded the software, but we could have 4 people on the screen at once. We'll be doing it tomorrow night on the Rolling On TV show. That's at 8 o'clock tomorrow night on the Rolling On TV
Eastern
page with Jeff Johnson and I. We're going to be interviewing Lisa Mora, I believe it is, Vintage Trailer Magazine, who drives around the country in a vintage, very old Hudson car. I live in Hudson, Mass. Hudson car. For most people listen to it probably don't know if there was ever a Hudson car with a vintage trailer. So that's another aspect, and that will be on the talk show format. And we'll probably have 3 people across the screen, but it's going to allow us to bring on guests like Michelle Fontaine and the team at Rolling On TV, like Don and Mark Polk, like Mike Pelchet. Mike can talk about the IRV2 forum, if any of you are on here and also frequent the IRV2
Tell them about that. Tell them about that, because that is a forum that is jam-packed, loaded with every different type of RV information imaginable, from destinations to repairs to DIY stuff to warranties and everything. And Mike, why don't you, put up your website address so people can see it. It's absolutely amazing. And Bob, remember a few years ago when we went down to where did we go? To Myrtle to do some investigating of the. We did 7 campgrounds in 2 days, ladies and gentlemen. By the time we were done with that, and then we got back on a plane. If you want to call that certain airline that we went on in a plane, I mean, I felt like I would have had more room if I was stuffed in somebody's luggage on that particular plane. But we met Mike and we met Mark, and we had a blast. And now we'll be able to introduce you to these people over again through the magic of Be Live.
Right. And later tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time, also on Facebook, the RV Show USA is on. They have a weekly program. Alan Warren does a phenomenal job. We all know Lisa's the brains behind that, but Alan's the on-camera guy and the personality. But you've heard us talk and post stuff from Chuck Woodbury at rvtravel.com with his Saturday morning newsletter. Chuck will be on for the whole hour between 9 and 10. The show starts at 8, so you can join in later on that one. So you've got.
Alan does just a great job with that show.
He really does. Yeah.
He'll ask Chuck some pretty hard questions, and Chuck doesn't hold back.
Nope. So as
what's going on?
As John mentioned, he's going north this weekend, and I'm going to go south. So he'll be covering the Lee's Family Trailer Sales big open house, and starts on Saturday, goes to the 18th of the month, and Dan's really put a lot of effort into that, but John will be doing his videos on the hour and the half hour. So,
and I'll be lucky that I'll be driving to Maine. You've got to land on Friday night in 50 and 60 mile an hour winds.
That's right. I land, and that as bad as the takeoff was today, it'd probably be worse come Friday, based on the nor'easter coming in and wrapping right around Logan Airport, just about the time that I'm going to land Friday night.
Do a couple extra clicks of that seatbelt because you might need it.
Well, it's interesting because then I'll get a few hours sleep, but then on Saturday I'm heading south. I'm going to stop at Flag RV, probably around the 10 or 11 hour. We'll do a video there. They've got a big house. Yep, they got a big open house this Saturday and Sunday. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll hit them on the way down to, I'm going to do the Rhode Island show. So I'll be doing some videos from the Rhode Island show on Saturday. But then I may stop there because there'll be some rock and music. They're actually opening up something incredible. I don't think we've seen it before, but an actual whole renovated customer lounge and waiting area. And they're calling it JR's Saloon. And that's after the father who built that business over many years. And now we've got Steve and Bridget and Joanne and Mike, and Jim comes in every once in a while. But they're going to open that at 4:00 to a rock band, and I forget the name of the band. Maybe
the Rolling Stones or
right,
the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles, yeah. But that's going to go from 4 to 7. So quite possible I'll hit them on the way down to Rhode Island. Then I'll do the Rhode Island show, and then I'll hit them on the way back from Rhode Island and see what kind of activity they've got in the lounge. Now that is at the open house is at both locations.
Yeah.
The lounge is the new renovated lounge is at the Uxbridge location.
Right. And Joanne tells me always to say when you're talking about open houses that they have the better hot dogs at the West Boylston location because their father, who's the lounge is named after, always insisted that they got the KM hot dogs with the crunch. And folks, that's my favorite. I'm going to order some, and maybe they can deliver them to me.
He's setting a high standard, Joanne. So I'm gonna expect a really good hot dog when I get down there.
Yeah. Hey, Alan, I see Alan Warren. He's making some comments. Alan, tell us what time you're on Eastern time. What time do you go on Eastern time? I don't think we conflict.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock Eastern.
Right, 8 o'clock Eastern.
Because he's in Texas.
He's in Texas. It's 8 o'clock our time. And you can, obviously tune in and listen to the first hour, but the second hour, he's got Chuck Woodbury on tap, and I'm sure that's going to be a lively and interesting discussion. And many of you get Chuck's Saturday morning newsletter. And I understand Chuck actually isn't that far away from him. Chuck is down in the San Antonio area and with Gail. And so Chuck is going to be on the show there. Switching over to the Rhode Island show. We talked about our open houses. At the Rhode Island show, we have a Rhode Island company. You want to tell them who that is, John?
Say that one more time.
I said we've got a Rhode Island show at the Providence Civic Center, and we have many dealers, but we have one dealer in Rhode Island at the show. Jay Moran is not. Jay Moran and Mark are not going to be happy with you. Arlington RV, East Greenwich, Rhode Island, right off 95. See, this is proof, everybody, that we do not practice this. They call it Facebook Live. Well, they call it Facebook Live for a reason.
Right.
We're
live and unscripted.
We're unscripted. We are in the rough.
Right.
Hey, Jerry Plant just showed up. Okay, Jerry Plant just showed up.
Several dealerships.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna run them down. We got Brad Moore and his team from Bradford RV, and as I mentioned last week, Ray Noriega is their new sales manager and finance manager, and I'm sure Ray is really chomping at the bit to make some great.
like when you leave one team and go to another, you want to hit a you come back to
Right, you want to hit a home run the first time up. So folks, you could probably take advantage. Ray's a nice guy. and he's a tremendous individual. But I'm guessing you could probably get a real good deal from Ray this weekend in
Bradford.
And I'm sure Brad's going to let him write whatever deals he wants to write. We also have Camping World there. Camping World RV Sales, probably staffed out of their Berkeley office. Jerry and his team will be down there. And we have Campers Inn down there. And that will come out of the Raynham office. Now, just back to Camping World. So those of you who were kind enough to join in, I'm going to give you a scoop. Actually, I'm going to give you a half a scoop.
Half a scoop.
Half a scoop.
Half a scoop.
Watch the trade journals, watch the websites in the next few days, because there are going to be 2 more Camping World locations. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I got on good word today. There's 2 more coming, and they are not in New England. They're nowhere near New England, but Camping World is going to expand again. And Campers Inn is building another one down in Virginia.
Yeah, so basically that's irrelevant material, because this is RVing in New England, and you brought up something that has nothing to do with New England.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. However,
another reason that this show is going to the dogs, because we didn't rehearse.
Going to the dogs. So, like, is that like 2 gals and a dog going to? The dog's name is Rue. R-U-E. In fact, I'm sure Rue is watching this program right now.
And I think we are both going to rue the day that we decided to do this unscripted with not even anything.
Right. After the campers, we have Diamond RV. So after this very successful open house last weekend, they knocked it out of the park last weekend. You can go down there and see Bob and his team in Rhode Island.
Let me tell you, they sold a lot of units last week. I don't know if Bob wants us to we won't mention it because
we won't mention the numbers.
But there was a lot of action, and Bob said, while Mark is in Florida, the owner,
that's right,
that Bob was going to blow material out of that place so that when Mark came back, the lot was going to be totally turned around, and they're ordering new material to fill the holes of the material that they sold last week. And they've got everything from, I don't know if they've got pop-ups, but they got small travel trailers up to the 45-foot Newmar.
Yep. Bring your checkbook. Okay. Michelle says, or maybe that's Laurie, but they say Rue is watching, so I'm glad to hear.
Okay. So
and Mike Pelchet, you are right. Mike Pelchet, it was Jack Moran who was the founder of, what were you saying there? Arlington RV. Jack goes way back, and his son Steve, both who are now passed away. But we've got Jay down there. We got Mark Donlin, the sales manager. We got Linda Terrell down there running that. All right, so we got Diamond. How about we got Fuller RV again with her rentals, and we saw her in Worcester, and she says she is booking up early and often. So if you're in the rental mindset, you've got to start making the reservations early. This is crazy. The business that everybody is writing on the sales side, but also on the rental side.
You know, Bob, you bring up a good point, because for the last month we've been telling people that if they want to buy an RV, if they're planning on buying an RV, travel trailer, motorhome, whatever facet of the RV world that they want, they need to make that purchase quickly, because there's a shortage of product. And it's just like there's a shortage of campgrounds, and there's a shortage of rental units. So you need to call whoever you call. You got to call them soon. And the last thing you want to happen is to have the kids thinking you're going to go RVing, and then you have to tell them, "Oh, we couldn't go because we couldn't get."
Yep. And it's always interesting when you come out here to Elkhart, because you hear those stories, and then you go by the factories, and the factory parking lot is loaded with hundreds of RVs. Well, that's not stock. They're just waiting for the transport drivers to bring them out to the dealers. Yep. And I know for a fact that a lot of the dealers are still waiting on stuff that they ordered in September. And when I spoke to Dan Crappy the other day up at Lee's, he's got units that are arriving this week that he'll have on display come Saturday. So these lots are full out here, and I'll take some pictures tomorrow and show you. But every one of those units that are sitting in the lots out here are sold and just waiting for delivery. Longview RV will be out there. I don't know if Frank will be there. I know Todd will be there with Todd Emerson with the Longview team. And by now you should probably all have it memorized. Right off the highway, right on the price, Route 91 down in Connecticut. Jeff Wozniak is going to be there, Man's RV, and he'll have a great selection of product that he's going to have readily available. And then we've got Pete's RV in 2 locations. McDonald's RV had signed up for the show, and now that Pete's owns McDonald's, they'll be in that location.
Yeah. And Rainey will probably be there. Rainey's watching right now. Rainey, hi, buddy.
Oh yeah, he will be there. Did you see his new shirt? He was posting today. Him and Andrew in their new shirts. So they're all
White
set.
Shirt management, yellow shirts for sales.
Right. Andrew had the yellow shirt. Rainey had the white shirt. So you can
exactly right.
Pick him out, and he'll be there. So Pete's and Vans will be there. So you've got a really good selection of product at the show. It's actually, quite honestly, it was larger than I expected. I know the last few years that show has kind of been downsizing a little bit, but I think, quite honestly, because the market is so good, because the dealers have so much inventory, they want to get out there in front of the consumers. They know the consumers are ready. They all jumped on the bandwagon to get into the Rhode Island show also, and that's probably the last big one near the Boston area. Then we're going to get out to the suburbs, and we'll have New Hampshire and Maine coming up in a few weeks. But we'll be covering that on there.
Yeah. Hey, Bob, one thing that we want to tell our viewers, if they would be so kind, if they're watching it live or if they're watching it on tape, as most people will watch it on tape, we get thousands of views a week on this particular show. That we're asking them to be so kind as to share the show. And generally somewhere down in the bottom of the screen, there's a share button. If you just hit share, it'll either go up on your post or on you can share it to a specific person. And that's the way we spread the message. We're both looking at a different screen than the general public is looking at right now. But we're told that somewhere on there, there's a message, a button that says share. So we definitely want to, because we want things to be sunny if you share.
Sunny and share. Good. Yeah. That's almost as good as Rue. We're getting close to the end of the half hour. So if you share after the half hour, after the show is over, send it out, because that's when a lot of people, they'll be able to view it at their leisure. Send it out to them now. By the time they dial in, they may not get it. Jerry responded on his Tennessee placement. He is 30 minutes from Knoxville.
Way on the east side.
In Madisonville.
Yeah. On the other side. Not too far from Bristol, Tennessee, then, the racetrack.
Yep. Another great location down there is Nashville. If you're taking summer vacations, if you like country music, and I know many RVers do. If you haven't been to Nashville, there's some great campgrounds down there. There's a KOA right by Opryland, the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. A lot of good campgrounds, nice trip, and a lot of things to do. And you can go see Andrew Jackson's Hermitage if you're into history while you're down there. So we've got that too. So it's going to be another busy weekend for us, and hopefully for you. Get out and visit a dealer either at the show or at the Flag or the Lee's open house that you'll have. And John, any closing comments or any thoughts that come to mind?
I'm presuming that all of our guests can feel the excitement. If you're near your computer watching this, if you just put where it says comment, say just put an F for feel the excitement. We'll see how many people actually listen to what we want. But F for feel the excitement.
Listen. Look at they listen. Look at Jerry. Jerry jumped in there with Dollywood over in Pigeon Forge. That's a great area over there.
Exactly.
Do they still call it Dollywood, Jerry? I thought they changed the name to.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's Dollywood.
Dollywood. I thought they changed the name on that.
And if Alan Warren is still, go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, the Grand Ole Opry. That's a great. Again, if you like country music, you got to visit the Grand Ole Opry. And that's in a new facility over at the Gaylord. But, you want to stop over and see the historic Ryman Auditorium while you're there. And you might catch the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, it's phenomenal. I forget how many years it's going. Hundreds. I think it's hundreds, but it's
well, that's why they call it old.
Right, and you never know.
OLE.
You never know who's gonna show up there. To the right, gals in the share button. Okay, right.
Should be down on the right. So just share it, and we'll like it that way. Not like Facebook, but we'll like it if you share it. So maybe best if we just get out while we're not arrested yet.
Okay, so we are
you're going to the Hall of Fame tomorrow. You're going to see a whole bunch of activity. You're going to visit with a lot of your friends that are presidents and owners of companies. That's all going to be exciting. Will you report on that next week when we do the show?
Yeah, I definitely will. I'm going to be in the Hall of Fame there with all the movers and shakers of the industry. I don't know why I'm here. I'm the least significant guy in the RV industry. I don't know.
Yes.
I think they'll let me in when I get over there. But if you haven't been to
you'll have to pay. Use my name. Use my name. I can sneak into any.
Okay. I'll just tell them John sent me. But
I'll give you some all access, some Kenny Rogers all access badges.
Yeah, but the exhibits are fantastic, and they also have on the second floor a very large library with all of the early trade books and journals and trade magazines. You can sit there and thumb through all of those, and it's just a great place. And they're going to be expanding it. Actually, they're probably going to break ground sometime. I think in the spring. They're going to add a rally campground. It's not going to be a public campground. They're going to add a rally park. If you're looking at it from Route 80 and 90, the interstate goes right by the museum. To the left of it's going to be a rally park with a big pavilion so that organizations like Good Sam or Escapees or FMCA chapters will be able to have their rallies there and take advantage of all the availability of the building.
It is conveniently located immediately on Interstate 90, which is the Mass Turnpike. So you could get on the Mass Pike and just drive for 15 hours, wave to the people in New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, along the way. And it's really easy to get to, and it's a great place. So, Bob, we just about reached our 30-minute time limit for saying.
I think we've extended our welcome. Again, I apologize for being late, but it is what it is, and no, I don't have a drink tonight. I got here so early, Michelle, and had to set up so quickly. I don't have a drink. But on that note, I did pack a very small bottle of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, only a half gallon this time.
Yeah, and guess what? It's still in Boston. It was over the 4-ounce limit, and they took it away from me, along with my shaving cream. So.
There's probably some TSA guys that are wobbly going down the interstate.
I said to the guy, I hope you enjoy that tonight because that was for me, not for you. So I'm going to have to go find a restaurant and a bar.
Bring up another point. Another reason to bring an RV because nobody confiscates your Jack Daniels when you put it inside an RV.
You're right. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks very much, folks. If you get some ideas for next week's show, I'd like to say I think we're going to go live with the talk show and see what we do with that because there's so much more that we can have fun with there. But thanks very much, everybody. John, you want to close it out?
Have a nice evening, everyone. And, hey, let's go RVing.
All right, take care.